The drive to my parents' house in Stafford is a groove worn deep by repetition. Every Sunday, the same 15-minute route, past the courthouse, past the town green, and onto the oak-lined street where the Kellers have lived for 30 years. The Victorian house stands exactly as it always does, its paint pristine, its gardens manicured. Sunday dinner is a ritual, the scent of pot roast. My mother, Priscilla, insisting on the good china. My father, Richard, carving the meat with methodical precision. It is the heartbeat of our family, steady and predictable. But today, something is off. The air feels different, charged with an energy I can't place. I park my car behind my sister Penelope's gleaming new convertible. As I walk up the brick path, I notice the front door is slightly ajar. If you're watching this video, tell me where you're from or what time it is for you. Usually, my mother hears the car and is at the door before I can ring the bell. Evelyn, you're late. Or Evelyn, your hair. Always something. Today, there is only silence from the foyer. But as I step inside, my footsteps muffled by the heavy Persian runner, I hear it. Laughter. Not the polite, contained laughter of Sunday dinner, but a light, gleeful sound filtering down from the second floor. "Hello?" I call out. My voice echoes in the entryway. No one answers. The laughter continues, drawing me up the winding staircase. I follow the sound to its source, my mother's bedroom. The heavy oak door is open just a crack, and the sound of my mother's approving murmur mixes with Penelope's light giggles. I pause at the threshold, an unseen observer. The scene inside is framed perfectly by the doorway. My sister, Penelope, stands before our mother's ornate floor-to-ceiling vanity mirror. Her dark hair, so much like our grandmother's, is piled elegantly on her head. Priscilla hovers behind her, her hands fluttering over Penelope's hair with a reverence I've never seen her direct at me. They are completely absorbed in their own private ceremony, oblivious to my arrival. "It's just perfect on you, darling," Priscilla whispers, her voice thick with an emotion that makes my stomach clench. Absolutely perfect. It's what sits atop Penelope's head that freezes the blood in my veins, the pearl-studded Juliet Cap, our grandmother's cap, the one she wore in the black and white wedding portrait that hangs in the upstairs hall, the one she promised to me. Its delicate antique beadwork catches the afternoon light, shimmering like a constellation. My breath catches in my throat. This is my dream. The centerpiece of every wedding fantasy I've had since I was 10 years old, and my sister is wearing it. "You were born to wear this," Priscilla says, adjusting it one last time. "Just look at how it frames your face. It's like it was made for you." A small, choked sound escapes my lips. I didn't even mean to make it. Both heads snap toward the door. Priscilla's hands freeze on the cap. Penelope's smiling face in the mirror is replaced by my own, pale and shocked. "Oh, Evelyn," Priscilla says. She drops her hands and her voice takes on that artificial brightness she uses for uncomfortable situations. "We were just trying on some things. For when Penelope's day comes, you know." My mouth is sandpaper. My hand instinctively moves to the engagement ring on my left hand. The diamond feels cold against my skin. "But I'm getting married," I manage to stammer, "in 4 months." Penelope turns, the cap still perfectly positioned on her head. She laughs, a light, dismissive sound that cuts me to the quick. "You never mentioned wanting it, Evelyn. Not once." She reaches up, her manicured fingers brushing one of the antique pearls. "I didn't think I needed to," I say, my voice coming out as a whisper. Everyone knew. Grandmother knew. Priscilla's reflection shows a flicker of annoyance before she smooths her expression back into one of patient tolerance. "Evelyn, dear, don't be dramatic." "This is a family tradition," Priscilla says, her voice firming, taking on the tone of a final judgment. "The cap goes to the daughter who truly appreciates its history, the one who embodies the family legacy. The unspoken words hang in the air between us. And that isn't you." My chest tightens. The room feels suddenly unbearably small. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is a theft. I push the door open fully and step into the room. That is not true, I say, my voice shaking but finding a sudden, sharp clarity. That's a lie. Priscilla's eyes widen. I never talk back to her. Evelyn, how dare you? I dare, I interrupt, striding closer. Grandmother promised it to me, in the attic, when I was 10. She took it out of the cedar chest. She put it on my head herself, and she said, "Someday, when you're a bride, you'll wear this, too." Priscilla scoffs, a sharp, ugly sound. A child's fantasy. You've twisted a lovely memory into something it wasn't. You were always so imaginative. It wasn't a fantasy, I insist, my eyes locked on hers in the mirror. I remember the smell of the mothballs. I remember the yellowed tissue paper. She promised me. Well, Priscilla says, turning from the mirror to face me. Even if she did say something to that effect, she was an old woman. She probably forgot. My decision as her daughter is what stands. Mother, I say, my voice low and desperate, please, may I please wear it for my wedding to David? Priscilla's face hardens. Oh, Evelyn, we couldn't possibly risk damaging it, she says, as if explaining something obvious to a child. Your wedding, it's going to be that simple affair, isn't it? In that garden, this cap belongs in a cathedral. Penelope, with exaggerated care, removes the cap and places it on a velvet cushion as if it's a priceless museum artifact. Besides, she adds with a small shrug, it just complements my features better. Everyone says so. Who is everyone? I demand. You, Mother? The bedroom door swings wider, and my father, Richard, enters, his Sunday paper tucked under his arm. What's all this shouting about? He asks, surveying the scene. His eyes land on the cap, then on my face, then on Priscilla's. Evelyn is making a fuss, Priscilla explains, her voice instantly shifting to that of a weary, patient wife. She wants to wear grandmother's cap for her wedding. Father's expression softens into the indulgent look he reserves for what he considers my impractical notions. He sighs. You know family traditions, Emmy, he says gently, using the childhood nickname that makes me feel small. Some things just make sense a certain way. Your mother knows best on these matters. He pats my shoulder, a gesture of dismissal. Now, let's go downstairs. The roast is getting cold. And just like that, it's over. The decision is made. I look at the cap gleaming on its cushion, as far beyond my reach as the moon. I understand with chilling clarity. There was no tradition. The tradition was just created in this room to ensure I would never have it. 30 minutes later, the dining room clock ticks with maddening precision. Mother serves pot roast onto bone china plates. Father unfolds his napkin with the same methodical motion he's performed every Sunday for 30 years. No one mentions what happened upstairs. The silence is a physical weight pressing down on us. These potatoes are exceptional, Father says, breaking the silence. You've outdone yourself, Priscilla. Thank you, Richard. I push the food around my plate. My appetite is gone. The image of Penelope wearing the cap, of my father's easy dismissal, plays on a loop in my mind. Emmy, you've barely touched your dinner, Mother notes, her tone deliberately light. Is everything all right? Before I can formulate an answer that isn't a scream, Penelope launches into a detailed account of her latest project at the law firm. It was a complete disaster when I got it, but I told the partners that if they just gave me 2 weeks, I could turn the entire litigation strategy around, and of course I did. I watch Mother's face transform. She leans forward, her eyes bright with interest. And what did Mr. Harrison say? He must have been impressed. That's my girl. A real Keller. He was, Mother, Penelope says, preening. He said I have the sharpest mind in the junior associate pool. Your sister's quite the rising star, Father comments, beaming at Penelope. When was the last time he showed that level of engagement with my career as a landscape architect? He turns to me, his expression shifting back to that indulgent, patronizing look. You've never been one for sentimentality, Emmy. Always so practical. Head in the dirt, right? He chuckles at his own joke. The label stings because it's so fundamentally wrong. My apartment is filled with pressed flowers, journals, and memory boxes. I am the sentimental one. They've just labeled me practical because it justifies their favoritism. It makes me the one who doesn't need heirlooms. I'd lend you the cap, of course, Penelope offers, her smile not reaching her eyes. But traditions matter in this family, don't they, Mother? Indeed they do, Mother nods, pleased. The front door opens and closes, and my Aunt Victoria, my mother's sister, bustles in. Sorry I'm late, Priscilla. The traffic on the parkway was a nightmare. She kisses us all, blissfully unaware of the storm that just passed. She takes her seat, and Priscilla serves her. We were just talking about family traditions, Priscilla says, shooting me a warning look. Aunt Victoria brightens. Oh, traditions, like grandmother's cap. She turns to me, her smile genuine. Evelyn, your wedding is so soon. You must be so excited to finally wear it. The question drops like a bomb into the center of the table. Priscilla's fork freezes midway to her mouth. Father clears his throat and studies his plate. Penelope suddenly becomes fascinated by her water glass. Didn't your mother, Victoria continues, looking at Priscilla, always say the cap was for her first grandchild's wedding? That's you, Evelyn, dear. The silence stretches for a full 10 seconds. Priscilla is pale. More potatoes, anyone? She asks, her voice too bright, too high. She pushes her chair back and stands abruptly. Victoria, come help me bring out the dessert. I made your favorite, apple crumble. But I just got here, Victoria protests. But Priscilla is already grabbing her arm and pulling her toward the kitchen. As they disappear, Father checks his watch. The Cardinals' game starts in 20 minutes. Under the table, out of sight, Aunt Victoria, before being dragged away, finds my hand and squeezes it. Hard. It's a signal. I know, you're not crazy. I drive to Aunt Victoria's farmhouse the following afternoon. Questions are churning in my mind, but the small seed of hope her hand squeeze gave me is growing. Her porch swing creaks as we settle with glasses of iced tea. Your mother is a piece of work, Victoria says, blunt as always. I knew something was wrong the second I saw her face. She told me the tradition was that it goes to the daughter who appreciates it, I say, the words tasting like ash. She said Penelope embodied the family legacy. Victoria snorts. What legacy? Shopping. Priscilla's rewritten more history than a state textbook committee. Your grandmother was very specific about her wishes, and Priscilla knows this perfectly well. She gets up and goes inside, returning a moment later with an old floral-patterned hat box. She places it in my lap. She gave me these for safekeeping, said she worried Priscilla might misplace them. I open the box. Inside are dozens of yellowed envelopes, all tied with a faded blue ribbon. The handwriting on them, that elegant sloping script, makes my throat tighten. Grandmother's letters to her sister. Go ahead, Victoria encourages. My fingers tremble as I open the first envelope. The letter is dated 15 years ago. My dearest Vivian, it reads, I took the cap out of the chest today for little Evelyn. Her eyes lit up like stars. She has her heart set on it, and I've promised it to her. Make sure Priscilla remembers this when the time comes. You know how she gets. The words blur as tears fill my eyes. I pull out a faded photograph tucked inside. Me, at age 10, sitting on grandmother's lap in the dusty attic, the pearl-studded cap tilted on my small head. We are both beaming. There are more, Aunt Victoria says softly, letter after letter. One describing how I spent an entire afternoon drawing the cap in my journal. Another reiterating the promise. The final letter, dated just months before her death, is explicit. The Juliet Cap belongs to Evelyn. She treasures its history, not just its value. Patricia seems to think it's a crown to be given to her favorite, but it is a promise made to my first granddaughter. Your grandmother intended it for you, Evelyn, Victoria confirms, her hand warm on mine. Priscilla has deliberately and with full knowledge reinterpreted her wishes to suit her own narrative. She's always favored Penelope. Heaven knows why. I stack the letters, the heavy paper feeling like armor in my hands. She's not getting away with this, I whisper. I don't call. I drive straight to my parents' house, the letters clutched in my hand. I find them in the kitchen reading the evening paper. I don't say hello. I walk to the table and spread the letters out, one by one. What is this, Evelyn? Father asks, annoyed at the interruption. Priscilla looks down. Her face goes ashen as she recognizes the handwriting. Where did you get those? From Aunt Victoria, I say, my voice cold. The person grandmother trusted to keep her actual wishes safe. I read the key passages aloud. My voice doesn't shake. The Juliet Cap belongs to Evelyn. Make sure Priscilla remembers this. A promise made to my first granddaughter. Priscilla is silent, her lips a thin white line. Father peers at one letter, then shrugs. It was a long time ago, Emmy. People say things. She didn't just say it, Dad, I snap. She wrote it repeatedly. She put it in writing and gave it to her sister for safekeeping because she knew Mother would do exactly this. Priscilla finally looks up, her eyes not with guilt, but with a cold fury. How dare you, she hisses, standing up. How dare you bring this gossip, this poison into my house? You and Victoria always whispering in corners. It's not gossip, it's her own words. These are private family documents. Priscilla suddenly snatches the entire stack of letters from the table. You had no right to take them. Victoria had no right to give them to you. Give them back, I say, lunging for them. Absolutely not. Priscilla holds them to her chest. I am the executor of your grandmother's estate. These are family property, and I am putting them away for safekeeping before you cause an even bigger rift in this family. You're stealing them, I say, stunned. I am protecting this family from your hysterics, she snarls. Girls, please, Father says, standing up. He looks deeply uncomfortable. This is not the quiet evening he planned. Evelyn, this is unseemly. Your mother is right. This is causing a problem. He reaches for his checkbook on the counter. Look, can't you just buy something similar? Dominion Bridal must have options. What do these things cost? He scribbles a number. Here's $5,000. Just go buy yourself a new thing. And let's have some peace. He tries to press the check into my hand. The gesture, reducing my grandmother's promise to a cash transaction, is so insulting, so dismissive that I recoil. I don't want your money, Dad. I want what's mine. Fine, Priscilla says suddenly, her tone changing. She shuffles the letters in her hand, then shoves the stack back at me. Fine, take your proof. It's meaningless. My decision stands. I snatch the letters back, my hands trembling with rage. This isn't over. Oh, yes, it is, she says, turning her back on me. It's done. I leave without another word, clutching the letters. I get into my car, tears of rage and humiliation burning behind my eyes. I sit there for a moment, trying to catch my breath. I look down at the stack of letters in my lap. Something feels wrong. I shuffle through them. The first letter is there, the one about me drawing in my journal, the faded photograph. But the last letter, the final, most explicit one, the one that said, "The Juliet Cap belongs to Evelyn. She treasures its history." It's gone. I frantically search the stack again. I empty the envelopes. It's not there. In that moment of shuffling, she'd palmed it. She'd looked me in the eye, handed me back a compromised stack of evidence, and stolen my smoking gun. I drive to my apartment, the useless letters on the passenger seat. I'm defeated. I don't just have to prove a promise. Now I have to fight a calculated, malicious theft. I walk into my apartment and collapse onto the sofa. When David comes home, he finds me curled up, not even crying, just staring at the wall. I explain everything, my voice dull. David's reaction is not dull. She stole it? She stole the letter? His hands clench. Evelyn, this is pathological. We're going back there. No, I whisper. You don't understand. We can't prove it. She'll just deny it. It's my word against hers. And in that family, her word is law. He holds me, his arms tight around me as I finally break down, curled against him. They're wrong, Evelyn, he murmurs into my hair. This isn't because you're unworthy, it's because they're cruel. My phone buzzes. It's my friend, Laura. Hey, your mom called me, asking about rehearsal dinner preferences. Weird. I told her to talk to you directly. What's going on? I explain the whole story. Laura fumes. Evelyn, they've always done this to you. Always. Remember your high school graduation? Your mother spent the entire ceremony taking photos of Penelope in the audience. She didn't get a single shot of you walking across the stage. This is the same thing, just with pearls. The next day, David's mother calls. Evelyn, dear, she says gently. David told me a bit about the situation with your grandmother's cap. I am so sorry. I know how much heirlooms can mean. She pauses. I have my mother's vintage sapphire hair clips. They're my something blue. They'd look beautiful with your dress if you'd like to borrow them. Her kindness, her simple, unconditional offer, brings fresh tears. She sees me. She's not trying to manage me or buy me off. She's just offering. 3 days later, I'm at my next meeting with my wedding planner, Monica. I'm quiet, subdued. Okay, Monica says, closing her laptop. What happened? You've lost your spark. Talk to me. I tell her everything. The cap, the letters, the theft, the check. Monica listens, her expression hardening. When I'm done, she nods once. Okay, so they've drawn their line. Now we draw ours. Your wedding should reflect your story, Evelyn, not theirs. Not the story Priscilla is trying to write for you. She leans forward. They've taken the cap. Fine. Let them have it. It's a dead thing. It's a symbol of their control. What if this is a chance to break free? To have a day that is 100% yours and David's, with no contamination. A small spark flickers inside me. What do you mean? I mean, we stop trying to please them. We stop trying to fit into their box. We find a new venue they don't know about. We hire vendors they don't have on speed dial. We create a new tradition starting now. She smiles. Let's start with the venue. You mentioned a garden? I can't ask their opinion on the venue, I say. The words surprising me. Good, Monica says, her smile widening. Don't. This is day one. The next day, while preparing for a client meeting, my phone buzzes, and buzzes again, a flood of notifications. I stare at the screen, watching Penelope's name illuminate again and again. An Instagram notification floats at the top. Penelope Keller tagged you in a post. My thumb hovers over the alert, a familiar sense of dread washing over me. I finally tap it. The photograph fills my screen. It's not a casual selfie. It's a photo shoot. Penelope sitting at mother's vanity, hair and makeup professionally done, gazing into the mirror with a soft, bridal expression. Grandmother's pearl-studded Juliet Cap perches atop her head like a crown. The lighting is perfect. She looks like a magazine cover. The caption beneath it is a masterpiece of passive aggression. Feeling so connected to my heritage, the pearl-studded Juliet Cap, our beautiful family heirloom, has been in the Keller family for generations. It's such an honor to know it will be mine someday, to carry on the legacy. Your family tradition, your heirloom jewelry, wedding traditions, Keller women. She tagged me. She tagged me directly. The comments scroll beneath, a sickening chorus of approval. You were born to wear it, Penelope, writes our Aunt Miranda. Just like your grandmother, adds Cousin Rachel. Absolutely stunning. A true Keller bride. My mother's comment is at the top, a string of 5 heart emojis. My beautiful, beautiful girl. I set the phone face down on my kitchen counter, my hands trembling. The morning sunlight streaming through the window suddenly feels too bright, too intrusive. David appears at my side, his coffee mug pausing halfway to his lips when he sees my expression. What's wrong? I wordlessly turn the phone toward him. His jaw tightens as he reads. His eyes narrow. A muscle works in his cheek. He sets his mug down with a sharp clack. This is deliberately cruel, he says, his voice low with controlled anger. This is a targeted attack. They know you're getting married in 4 months. They know you wanted that cap. This is evil. Maybe she just forgot. I offer weakly, but the words taste like poison. Evelyn, stop, David says, his hand covering mine. Stop it. Do not make excuses for them. This was a choice. A public, calculated, cruel choice. The phone buzzes again. A text from Aunt Victoria. Just saw Penelope's post. I am incandescent with rage. Are you all right, dear? At least someone is. 3 days later, I'm forced to attend my grandparents' 60th anniversary party at the Stafford Country Club. The linen tablecloth feels crisp beneath my fingers as I twist my napkin into a tight spiral. Across the table, Priscilla beams as she accepts compliments about Penelope, who is wearing a navy dress that Mother clearly selected. Penelope will make such a beautiful, traditional bride, Great Aunt Martha announces to the table, patting Penelope's hand. She has the Keller bearing, always has. The perfect debutante bride of the future, Uncle James nods sagely. Your mother showed me the photographs with the cap, Martha continues, loud enough for the whole table to hear. Just exquisite. She'll wear your mother's cap just beautifully. She will, won't she? Priscilla agrees, her voice carrying just enough to ensure I hear it. I pull my phone from my purse, opening the wedding countdown app. 112 days. I've been dreaming of this day since childhood, and now I'm being publicly erased from my own family's history. David squeezes my knee under the table, a silent, furious reminder that I'm not alone. The next morning, I can't breathe in my apartment. I can't work. I drive, and my car takes me to the one place that has always been a refuge, Faraday's Antiques. It's a place where history is valued but not hoarded, where stories are meant to be continued, not locked away. The bell above the door jingles. Mrs. Faraday, a woman in her 80s with hands gnarled by arthritis but eyes as sharp as a hawk's, smiles at me from behind the counter. Evelyn, haven't seen you in weeks. How's the wedding planning coming along? It's progressing, I manage, not quite meeting her eyes. She studies me with the keen perception of someone who's witnessed decades of human joy and sorrow. Trouble? Family, I say. Ah, she nods. The worst kind. She straightens up. Come with me, she says suddenly, motioning toward the back room. Got something new in yesterday. Might cheer you up. I follow her past cabinets of depression glass and vintage jewelry to a small display of wedding items, tatted handkerchiefs, satin ring-bearer pillows, vintage cake toppers. Something borrowed, something blue, Mrs. Faraday murmurs, carefully lifting a delicate handkerchief edged in pale blue thread. But my attention is fixed on something else. In the corner, a simple wicker basket is filled with bundles of dried baby's breath. The tiny white flowers, still perfect, look like miniature stars. Mrs. Faraday follows my gaze. Ah, those. Simple beauty, isn't it? Never goes out of style. My assistant dried those herself. I lift a bundle, the stems thin and delicate between my fingers. I wore wildflowers in my hair for my wedding, Mrs. Faraday says, her voice softening with memory. My head snaps up. You did? Oh yes, my mother had this elaborate diamond tiara. Been in our family for generations. Everyone expected me to wear it. But you didn't. Her smile deepens the wrinkles around her eyes. No, I looked at myself in that tiara, and I saw my mother, my grandmother, everyone but me. So the morning of my wedding, I walked into a field and gathered Queen Anne's lace and chicory. "What did your mother say?" I ask, barely breathing. Mrs. Faraday laughs, a sound like wind chimes. Oh, she was furious, utterly scandalized. But Harry, my husband, he saw me. He said I'd never looked more beautiful. She pauses, patting my hand. We had 63 years together before he passed. Not once, Evelyn. Not once did he mention wishing I'd worn that tiara. I stare at the baby's breath, a tiny, fragile idea forming in my mind. A new path. Not their path. Mine. I buy 3 bundles of the baby's breath, cradling them like precious cargo as I leave the shop. For the first time in weeks, a sense of possibility unfurls within me. Authenticity over tradition. The phrase echoes in my mind, a revelation. That evening, I'm sketching ideas in my journal when David calls. "Hey, I met with that florist today. The one in Auburn, Tessa. She's amazing." "You did that without telling me?" I ask, surprised. I wanted it to be a surprise. Your mother kept sending you those links to that florist she knows. Marjorie? Her bridge partner, I supply, specializes in bouquets that cost more than my rent. Yeah, her. Well, Tessa completely understands what we're going for. No fussy arrangements, nothing overdone. She said she can incorporate whatever elements matter to you. No pressure from anyone. Later that night, Laura texts me links to independent dressmakers. Just options. Her message reads, "Places your mom doesn't have on speed dial." My future mother-in-law calls the next morning. "Evelyn, David mentioned there might be some tension about venues. Robert and I would love to offer our garden. The spring flowers will be at their peak in 4 months. It's private and, well, Priscilla doesn't have a key." My planner, Monica, emails a list of photographers and caterers. All small businesses, she writes. Vendors who will respect your vision. People who will listen to you. I stand in my living room, surrounded by these messages, these offers. A protective circle is forming around my wedding day, around me-I. The realization washes over me like warm water. I have people who see me. That evening, I sit cross-legged on my living room floor. The bundles of baby's breath are spread before me on a clean towel. With careful fingers, floral wire, and green tape, I begin weaving the delicate stems together, forming a simple, elegant circlet. The dried flowers are surprisingly sturdy, yet light as air. I imagine wearing this instead of the heavy, pearl-studded cap, a crown of my own making. My phone rings. Mother's name appears on the screen. I take a deep breath, my hands still full of baby's breath, and answer. "Evelyn, I've been thinking about the rehearsal dinner seating." Her voice is crisp, all business. "The Hawthorns should be at table 1, of course, and we'll need to separate the Millers from the Prestons after that unfortunate incident at the charity gala." "Mother," I interrupt. My voice is steady. David and I have already decided on the seating arrangements. The silence that follows stretches like taffy. "But we always handle these arrangements," she finally says, genuine confusion in her tone. "Not this time," I reply. Gentle, but firm. I twist another stem into my growing crown. "We're keeping things simple, just close friends and family at one long table." "But that's not how... It's how we're doing it," I say, surprised by the quiet authority in my own voice. "I should go. David and I are meeting with the new photographer tonight." I hang up before she can argue. After I hang up, I hold the completed baby's breath crown up to the light. It's delicate, intricate, and strong. I walk to the full-length mirror in my hallway and place it on my head. The dried white flowers frame my face like a constellation of tiny stars. It's not a crown of legacy or inheritance. It's a crown of choice. For the first time in months, I recognize the woman in the mirror, and she is smiling. The next day, I spread a new mood board across my dining table. Photos of garden weddings, simple table settings with wildflowers in mason jars, bridesmaids in mismatched dresses the color of spring leaves, no crystal candelabras, no 5-course meals, no Keller family crest embossed on every surface. Daniel leans over my shoulder, his hand squeezing mine as he surveys the images. "This," he says softly, "is us, not them." Later that afternoon, I approved the final design for our wedding invitations. The simple, heavy cardstock features pressed wildflowers instead of the Keller family crest. There's no mention of Mr. and Mrs. Richard Keller request the honor of your presence. Instead, it simply reads, "Evelyn and David invite you to celebrate their marriage." I run my fingertip over the raised texture of the dried flowers pressed into the paper. This wedding will be ours. My mother arrives unannounced on Tuesday morning. Her knuckles rap against my door with their familiar, impatient authority. I barely have time to set down my coffee mug before she sweeps inside, her Chanel perfume announcing her presence. "I've been thinking about your wedding dress," she announces, settling onto my sofa uninvited. Her cream-colored purse rests primly on her lap. "Mother, I spoke with Madame Renee about altering my dress for you. It's the same dress she's been pushing since David proposed, a 1980s confection of lace and beading that belongs in her wedding album, not mine." "I already have a dress, Mother," I say, busying myself collecting stray magazines from the coffee table, avoiding her eyes. "But tradition, Evelyn," she emphasizes my full name, the way she always does when she's displeased. "A Keller bride in something borrowed. It's what's done." "Something borrowed like the cap you promised Penelope?" The words are out before I can stop them. Her face tightens. "That is enough." Her phone chimes. She glances at the screen, then quickly tucks it away, but not before I catch the photographer's name in the preview. Julian Prescott. "Did you just contact Julian Prescott?" I ask, my voice dangerously quiet. A flicker of discomfort crosses her face before she composes herself. "Well, that boy you hired, with the artistic notions." "Travis," I say. "His name is Travis. He was all wrong. Julian has done all our family events since your graduation. He knows our good angles." The room suddenly feels too small. The walls are pressing inward. "Mother, did you cancel my photographer?" "I simply called Travis and explained that we would be going in a different direction," she says, as if this is the most reasonable thing in the world. "I told him we'd pay his cancellation fee, of course. Julian is booked. He'll be there at noon." You called my vendor, behind my back, and canceled him." "I fixed it," she says, standing up. "You'll thank me when you see the photos." "Get out." She blinks. "What did you say?" I said, "Get out." I walk to the door and pull it open. My hand is shaking, but my voice is iron. "Get out of my apartment. Now." "Evelyn, don't be hysterical. Now you do not get to come in here and dismantle my life. You do not get to bulldoze my wedding. You have taken enough. Get out." She stares at me, her face a mask of shock and indignation. She has never been spoken to like this. She snatches her purse and sweeps out of the apartment, slamming the door behind her. I lean against the closed door, my heart hammering. Between the cutting board and the knife block on my kitchen counter sits today's mail. On top is an envelope in my father's distinctive handwriting. Inside, a check for $5,000. The note reads, "For a proper wedding. Love, Dad." My phone buzzes 10 minutes later. I answer, thinking it's David. Penelope's tearful voice fills the speaker. "Evelyn, what did you do?" She hiccups dramatically. "Mom's beside herself. She came home in tears. You're tearing the family apart with this rebellion." The word hangs between us. Rebellion. As if choosing my own photographer is an act of war. She canceled my photographer, Penelope, the one David and I spent weeks choosing. She was just trying to help. She was trying to make it nice, and you're being so ungrateful. I'm getting married, Penelope, I say quietly, not starting a revolution. It's the same thing to them, she sobs and hangs up. I sit at my kitchen table, the check in my hand. I pick up a pen and write a note to my father. Thank you for the offer. We've got this covered. I tuck his check inside and seal the envelope. No anger, no accusations, just a boundary. My phone rings again, an unknown number. Evelyn, it's your cousin Samantha. Samantha. We were close as kids but drifted apart. She's always been neutral, a quiet observer on the sidelines of the family drama. Sam? Hi, is everything okay? No, actually, she says, and her voice is tight with an anger that mirrors my own. I just got off the phone with Julian Prescott's assistant. I'm friends with her. Did you know your mother, my Aunt Priscilla, tried to poach him for your wedding date? Worse, I say, my voice flat. She succeeded. She canceled my photographer. There's a sharp intake of breath on the other end. That's it. I'm done. What do you mean? Evelyn, she did the same thing to me, Samantha says, her voice dropping. 5 years ago, over grandmother's silver service, the one I was promised. Priscilla decided Penelope entertained more and just took it. She told the whole family I'd gifted it to her. I was so stunned, I let her. I backed down. She takes a shaky breath. I have regretted it every single day for 5 years. I let her win. You are not backing down. We are not letting her win. I'm speechless. I never knew. Okay, here's what's happening, Samantha says, all business now. Julian Prescott, his brother is my ex-boyfriend, a very messy breakup. Julian owes me. Hold on. I hear muffled talking. Then Samantha comes back on the line. Okay, Julian is now regrettably double booked. He has a conflict he can't possibly get out of. He'll be calling your mother to apologize in the next 10 minutes. Done. Sam, I don't know what to say. Don't say anything yet. I'm sending you a link, right now. Her name is Bianca. She's a shark. She hates our family's social circle, and she is a brilliant photographer. I've already called her. She's free. Tell her I sent you, and she'll give you a discount just to spite your mother. My phone pings with the link. And one more thing, Sam says. That rehearsal dinner, book it at Riverside Gardens. It's a private club. Priscilla isn't a member. I am. I'll sponsor the reservation. She can't get in without an invitation. Tears are streaming down my face, but for the first time, they're not tears of despair. They're tears of relief. Thank you, Sam. Really. Don't thank me. Just don't back down. Send me your guest list for the dinner. I'll handle the door. After we hang up, I feel a surge of energy. I call Bianca, the new photographer. She's sharp, funny, and despises Bridezilla's mothers. She's hired. I log into the wedding planning website and change the password to something Priscilla would never guess. Authenticity 2025. I book Riverside Gardens for the rehearsal dinner under David's last name. I take my father's check, walk it to the mailbox, and send it back. The next morning brings an unexpected call. Margaret Holloway's voice, wavering with age but clear with purpose, fills my ear. Grandmother's best friend calling from her retirement home. Evelyn, dear, it's Martha Holloway. I saw Penelope's post about that cap. She doesn't waste time. Oh, Mrs. Holloway. Hello. I just have one thing to say. Your grandmother, Elizabeth, would be so proud of you for standing your ground. My throat tightens. You knew about the cap? Knew, she cackles. Dear, she never shut up about it. It's for Evelyn, she'd tell me. She's the only one who sees the history, not the pearls. She told me how you sat for hours drawing it in your little notebooks. Some people, Martha says, her voice softening, rewrite history to suit themselves, Evelyn. It doesn't make it true. 2 weeks later, the final dress fitting feels like a victory. No mother hovering with suggestions. No Penelope commenting on how certain styles might be more flattering. Just me, Laura, and a seamstress who smiles approvingly at my reflection. The gown falls in simple, elegant lines. The ivory silk catches the light without a single bead or sequin. My shoulders look stronger than I remember. My posture is straighter. "You look like yourself, Evie," Laura says quietly. On the vintage vanity in the fitting room sits my creation, the delicate crown of baby's breath. I've added one small touch. Tiny vintage pearl pins, salvaged from a broken necklace I found at Faraday's, are nestled among the white blooms. Not an heirloom passed down, but something new, created from something old. I place it carefully on my head. In the mirror, I see a woman I recognize. "This," I whisper, "feels right." The evening before the wedding arrives. I'm at my apartment packing a bag for the hotel when the doorbell rings. It's Priscilla. She looks tired, and for the first time, uncertain. She's holding a familiar, heart-shaped velvet box, its covering worn at the corners. "I've brought the Juliet Cap," she says, her voice strained. She holds it out. "Just in case you change your mind." I look at the box, the treasure I once coveted, the object of 20 years of dreams. I look at my mother's expectant, anxious face. "Thank you, Mother," I say gently, "but I've made my choice." Confusion clouds her eyes. "But it's tradition. It's what we've always done." I think of the baby's breath crown, carefully packed in its own box, of the decisions made, the boundaries established. "It's what you've always wanted," I correct her softly. "It's not what I want." Something shifts in her expression, the first fragile recognition that maybe, just maybe, there's a difference. She pulls the box back. "Well, I'll see you tomorrow then." She turns and walks away. Morning sunlight filters through the oak trees in David's parents' garden. I sit on a stone bench, still in my robe, watching butterflies dance between the hydrangeas. There is no frantic rush. No precisely timed appointments, no Priscilla herding bridesmaids with military precision. It's just calm. "Water." Laura appears beside me, offering a crystal tumbler with cucumber slices. "Thanks." The cool glass feels reassuring. "Is it strange that I'm not nervous?" "Not strange," Laura says, settling beside me in her soft sage green bridesmaid dress. "Perfect." Across the lawn, my bridesmaids are arranging wildflowers in mason jars. Our new photographer, Bianca, is taking candid shots, laughing with David's groomsmen. The absence of Julian Prescott and my mother's preferred florist feels like oxygen. "Ready for your crown?" Laura holds up the delicate circle of baby's breath. I nod, closing my eyes as she places it gently on my head. The weight is almost non-existent, yet I feel its presence like an anchor to this moment, this choice. "Take a look." Laura guides me to the vintage standing mirror we've positioned beneath a maple tree. The woman reflected back surprises me. My simple silk dress falls in clean lines. My hair frames my face in loose waves. The baby's breath crown sits like morning frost. I recognize myself, I whisper. A slight movement in the mirror's edge catches my attention. Priscilla. She stands in the doorway of the house, watching. Her expression is a complex, unreadable mix of confusion, sadness, and something else I can't name. She opens her mouth, then closes it. She retreats inside without a word. From my hiding place near the kitchen door, I spot Penelope's arrival. She's wildly overdressed in a formal cocktail dress and stilettos that sink into the grass with every step. Her discomfort is visible as she glances around, as if expecting to find the familiar trappings of a Keller event. "Ready?" Father appears beside me, adjusting his tie nervously. We stand in silence for a moment, the weight of unspoken conversations between us. He looks at me, really looks at me, for what feels like the first time. His eyes drift from my face to the baby's breath crown, then back. "Emmy," he begins, then stops. His voice is rough. "You look like your grandmother right now." My breath catches. Another comparison. "Oh, not because of any heirloom," he continues softly, "because of your grace, your strength." He looks down. Did you know she wanted you to have the cap? I suspected. I saw the letters you left on the table. You knew, and you let her do it? He winces. I've never been brave enough to challenge your mother on things that matter to her. It was just easier not to. He offers his arm. And now I see what courage looks like. I'm sorry, Evelyn. I'm sorry it took me so long. He walks me down the aisle, my hand resting on his sleeve. Daniel waits beneath an arch covered in simple greenery. When our eyes meet, his smile breaks like a sunrise. His hands close around mine like coming home. Our vows contain no mention of family traditions or proper roles. We promise partnership. We promise to listen. We promise to be a team. When David speaks of my quiet strength and fierce integrity these past few months, tears spring to my eyes. He's seen the battle. He's seen me. Applause surrounds us as we share our first kiss. I catch glimpses of unexpected expressions. Great Aunt Martha, nodding with approval. Uncle James, wiping his eye. My father, standing straighter than he has in years. At the reception, conversations flow around me like water. Most authentic wedding I've attended in decades, says Mrs. Whitaker, Mother's Garden Club rival. Your grandmother had that same spirit, adds Uncle Thomas. She never did care much for pomp. My God, they have a taco truck. Priscilla must be having a stroke. I overhear Samantha whispering to Laura, and I have to stifle a laugh. Bianca, the photographer, captures it all. Daniel spinning me under the apple trees. Guests dancing barefoot on the grass. Not a single staged, stiff-backed family portrait. From across the garden, I notice Priscilla standing alone. She's overhearing the guests praise the simplicity, the genuine warmth, the joy. Her face is a complex story I can't fully read. As evening descends, Penelope approaches. She's clutching the familiar velvet cap box. Her makeup is slightly smudged. You don't need the cap, she says quietly. You never did. I wait, sensing there's more. I was jealous, she continues, tears brightening her eyes. Not of the cap, of you, of how you always knew who you were. You had your drawings, your plants, your own life. Her voice breaks. I only ever knew who they wanted me to be, the perfect one, the Keller girl. It's exhausting. She extends the box. Grandmother would want you to have this. I know that now. The moment stretches between us. The cap finally within my grasp. The dream suddenly within reach. I place my hand on the velvet box, but I don't take it. Keep it, Penelope, I say gently. Maybe it's your turn to find your own way, to decide what it means to you. I look at my sister, really look at her, and for the first time, I see how young she looks beneath the perfect facade, how uncertain. I turn back toward my husband, who is waiting for me under the twinkle of the market lights. The crown of baby's breath sits light upon my head, a crown I earned. 6 months later, the Christmas tree in our new living room stands adorned, not with my mother's color-coordinated glass balls, but with memories. Wedding photos hang between the lights, my baby's breath crown clearly visible. First Christmas as the Millers, David says, wrapping his arm around my waist. No dress codes, no assigned seating. I lean against him, savoring the peaceful quiet of our home. The dining table is set with mismatched vintage plates I collected from thrift stores. No Keller china in sight. When the doorbell rings, I don't rush to check my hair. The woman who opens the door is confident, relaxed, and unburdened by the need for approval. Our friends, Laura and Samantha, burst in, laden with gifts. The phone rings 3 days later. Mother's name appears on the caller ID. I brace myself, but answer. Evelyn. Her voice is tentative, a note I've never heard before. I was just wondering. That crown you wore, it was distinctive. A long pause. Would you show me how to make one? for the garden club, just a simple one. From Priscilla, this is a declaration of surrender. I can do that, Mom, I say. At the family's New Year's gathering, I find myself in the garden with my 16-year-old cousin, Sarah. I'm teaching her to weave winter jasmine into a simple circlet. Aunt Priscilla always says I should wear my hair up to look more elegant, she confides, her fingers fumbling with the stems. But I feel more like me when it's loose. Then wear it loose, I say, handing her another sprig. Penelope arrives wearing jeans and a cashmere sweater instead of her usual cocktail dress. When Uncle James remarks on her casual appearance, she just shrugs. I wanted to be comfortable. Our eyes meet across the patio, a small shared smile. Something has shifted. For our first anniversary, David and I return to his parents' garden. Under the same oak tree, he presents me with a flat, wrapped package. I found this at your grandmother's friend Martha's house. She wanted you to have it. I unwrap a framed photograph I've never seen before. It's grandmother in her garden. Her hands are dirty from planting, her face is bright with joy, and her hair is held back with a simple ribbon. No pearl cap, no formal pose, just her. I turn the frame over. A note in that familiar, elegant script is taped to the back. To my Evelyn, who always saw the beauty and simplicity, not just in pearls, don't let them ever dim your light. Love, Grandma. Tears blur my vision. The real heirloom was never the cap. It was her spirit, her understanding. Her validation, hidden away from me all these years. That evening, I place fresh baby's breath beside my preserved wedding crown, now displayed in a shadow box on our wall. In the mirror behind it, I catch a glimpse of my smile, so like grandmother's in the photograph. My journal sits open on the desk, today's entry still drying. Heirlooms aren't always objects. Sometimes they're permission. When the phone rings, I answer with a peaceful certainty. The woman I've become doesn't need anyone's approval to recognize her own worth. If this story resonated with you, leave a like and consider subscribing. You can also drop any comment below, even just one word. Maybe tell me where you're watching from, or what time it is right now. Sometimes one word is enough to say you were here,